Welcome to the Business Over Beer Happy Hour, a daily dose of support for business owners, entrepreneurs, and people passionate about what they do. Hosted by Ben Surratt, Jonathan Kaler, and Jason Knope, it's time to grab a beer, enjoy some cheer, and join together.
We're live. We're recording. It's Friday. I'm happy because we are in the happy hour. Thank goodness. And I have this wonderful group of people in front of me. But the one I want to talk to right now is the man of the hour, the terror of power, Mr. Respect the Hair himself. Some people call him the Space Cowboy. We call him Spartacus. Mr. Jonathan Kaler. Happy Friday, Jonathan.
Oh, Ben, I am so happy now. Now it's Friday. It's happy hour. We get to drink soon. We get to be together. Man, I miss you guys.
I miss you guys.
You know, it's funny. Ever since we went to this video platform, I'm so much more cognizant of what I wear. And I've figured out I own a lot of plaid. I got a lot of plaid shirts. If I got rid of all of my plaid shirts, I may not have anything left to wear on the show. So hopefully,
he's gone to plaid.
Hopefully, the coronavirus will not impact plaid shirts, and they will not get quarantined. That would be very bad. So speaking of quarantines, are you down with the KNOPP, our gangster of love, our gangster of Hazeldale, Jason Knope? Welcome to Happy Hour, my friend. How you feeling tonight?
I'm fantastic, man. It was a good day today. Beautiful weather, and now I get to drink beer.
Yeah, thank goodness.
All of you.
I was re-listening to our second Happy Hour, and we called you the gangster of Hazeldale, and I really want to revisit that. I want that to stick. So that might be the new intro going forward, bud. So
maybe we ought to try letting Ben introduce me one time to see if he can one up that. But Gangster Hazeldale's pretty damn good.
I don't want to now.
I'm not ready for that. There's too many changes in the world. I'm not ready for that.
Hey, you know what though? Knope, do we have a guest?
We do. We have Rachel Kurzyp with us.
Kurzyp.
I said that wrong. Kurzyp, damn.
Kurzyp. It's not that hard, you guys. Rachel, thank you so much for joining us on Happy Hour tonight.
Thanks for having me.
This morning, tell everybody where you're joining us from.
I'm joining from Melbourne, Australia. So I was telling the guys off air, I was considering drinking beer at 10:30 a.m. However, I thought I might be pushing it a little bit, but I brought the next best thing, which is coffee. And you guys know that Australians are coffee snobs, and this is damn good coffee. So I think it's going to be pretty much the same as your beer. I'm enjoying it just as much.
Outstanding. As long as that makes you happy, then that's what the happy hour is all about. So, and at 10:30 in the morning, that's what makes me happy, unless it's a really bad morning.
That, Taylor, in a good tracksuit, right, Rachel?
Yes.
There he is.
Buddy.
He really is the gangster of Hazeldale.
There's nothing wrong with a good tracksuit.
Yeah, I was reading Rachel's About Me section. She works in tracksuits, matching tracksuits.
Ah.
I do. I have tracksuit bottoms on and Ugg boots, but you know, the typical Zoom style. So I decided to put on a jumper and some earrings. So that's about as like dressed up as I get today on Zoom. But yes, I work in matching tracksuit sets because my partner would come home from work or leave in the morning and be like, what have you even done today? You're still wearing the same thing. You're still sitting on the couch, you know, laying in bed or whatever. And obviously I did do work, but to prove that I was going to work and doing stuff and things, I brought matching tracksuit sets. So I put them on in the morning and sit at my desk. So I've got like a Smurf blue one, like a Grandma Rose one. I think this year I might get like a Big Bird yellow one. So that they're feral colors. Like they're not pretty. They're not like the sexy, pretty pajamas being sold online right now to women around the world to be all cozy and stuff. I choose like the worst colors. They have to be comfy, and normally there are 1 or 2 sizes too big, so I literally just look like a blob of color at my computer, and sometimes it gets cold and I even put the hood on and keep typing, so all class here. But it works. I get my job done. So, and then I take it off and put on other tracksuit pants at the end of the day and I feel like I've accomplished something, and I have an after work routine. So that's kind of good.
And the beauty is you can tell everybody, yeah, I wear a suit to work.
Right.
Yeah.
I love it.
PJ tactics in. Yeah.
Well, normally we start with your business, and so why don't we start there? I love on your website, I think is where I saw this, where you said you're the typical millennial, and I'm gonna misquote it. I should have written it down, but I didn't. But you're the typical millennial, and you like to have, is it the hyphen career path? Is that what you called it? And that just
we call it the hyphen.
that made me chuckle.
I think in America you might call it the slashy, like not horror movie slasher, but like slashy.
The slag,
yeah.
Oh,
so like, you know,
like this,
you do
this, not like this.
Correct.
Gotcha.
So you do all of the things. Yeah. And so like I love introducing myself as this, because I don't know if you guys have been the same, but for years I thought I was doing something wrong because I liked doing so many things and I was reasonably good at a whole bunch of stuff. And then, you know, the world tells you do one thing and you do it for like your entire life. And I think it's changing. So I used to always think I was doing something wrong when I was like, oh, I do this and I do this and I do this. Like I couldn't, you know, stay focused or committed to one thing. But the thing was, I was committed and focused to a lot of things, and I was doing a lot of things well, and I liked doing a lot of things. So people would always say to me, oh yeah, but what are you going to do when you grow up? Or so which thing do you think you're going to, you know, drop and keep? And I was like, I'm going to do all of them. And so I have. And so, yeah, so I always like, now I've just embraced, particularly, you know, especially around a lot of sort of bad commentary the last couple of years around millennials. Obviously I'm like the larger age group, so I'm 33, and there's, you know, a lot of younger millennials, but I was just sick of, again, us being kind of belittled for doing a whole bunch of stuff because we had to and we chose to. So yeah, now when I talk about what I do actually say like I'm a copywriter, marketing coach, international speaker, teacher, I'm a published author, and I do all of these things, and I like doing them. So yeah, I guess I do pretty much everything you can imagine. I suppose if you had to sort of summarize what I do, put like a little umbrella on it, which everyone loves, it would be around marketing and communication. So anything to do with that, that's my jam. So that's what I speak about, that's what I write about, that's what I teach about. That's what I help other people do. So small business owners such as myself. I still work with a few large corporates in the health and education sector, so like universities and hospitals. But mostly I kind of just work with people like us now and just allow them to get the same kind of resources, support, and information around marketing communications that the large corporations and organizations around the world get. So I've learned all this stuff. I've got 3 degrees. I live and breathe it and have my whole life. And now I just, teach it to others in a like less jargonistic, less shitty way. Basically teach people how to do marketing communications and feel good about that. Feel good about selling, feel good about helping others, feel good about using the resources and the talents that they have to, like, you know, help themselves, their family, community, and the world.
Awesome.
Wow.
Well, I can't wait to get into some of that. I'm really interested to talk about how coronavirus and COVID-19 is impacting, you know, your community and your country. But Ben, you look thirsty.
Man. I'm thirsty. I can't lie.
Why don't you kick us off?
Are we ready?
Oh, he's got the big cans out.
Big ass can.
I do. I got the fanzine from Fort George and Grains of Wrath. Went to Taps yesterday. Talked to Kevin and Paul. They say hi, by the way. And they said, you got to try this one. So I'm like, all right. Get me a crawler of it. So here we go.
Awesome. Get after it.
I am.
Well, while he's pouring that, I made a stop out at Lewitt in downtown Vancouver. I picked up a new glass, and I got a beer. It's been so nice. It was 75 degrees yesterday. It was almost 70 today.
Dude, it was beautiful.
It almost felt like summer, and so I couldn't think of a better beer to drink in summertime Canope than a nice Kolsch. So I got that as a tribute to you, my friend. I got the Lewitt Kolsch.
I knew you cared.
I do. I care deeply for you.
Try to hide it, but I know deep down you care.
Rachel,
I haven't tried these
what kind of
beers.
coffee you having?
Well, it's a local blend from like a local coffee shop. So I have no idea what it's called. My partner buys it. He puts it in our machine and he makes it. And I pretend that coffee just miraculously ends up on my side table every morning when I wake up. Just some coffee fairies. But it's got a nice chocolatey kind of aroma. It's pretty like light. I don't like really heavy roasts. And yeah, it's actually like really easy to like get down. And I like sipping on it for a while because then I don't get over caffeinated and get like the excitable jitters. So I'm trying to pace myself, just like, you know how you try and pace yourself through your first beer because you like down it and then you need to like drink more and it gets faster and faster and you don't actually enjoy it all. So like I try and at least half of my first beer or half of my coffee, I'm trying to sip and appreciate before sculling. Yeah.
I do know what you mean. Absolutely.
Nope. What do you got in there?
I am once again drinking the Ghost Runner Brewing Pilsner.
Well, when you got a keg of it to drink, you might as well drink it.
My only problem is like, if it's more than half gone, I'm going to have to call one of the kids to bring me another beer.
Well,
Joys of working from home.
happy hour, everyone.
Happy,
Prost.
happy hour. Prost. Is it just cheers in Australia?
Yes, we don't have some weird Australian word for cheers. No, just cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Yes.
But it sounds so good with the accent. So
Totally does.
I didn't think I had actually that strong accent, but then, and I didn't think that I said too many Australian kind of words, but then when I taught recently, like in America, and did like workshops, I said I think about 10 things that people wrote down that were Australian kind of isms, and then at the end, everyone had to ask me what they meant. So feel free to jump in if I say something that doesn't make sense.
I'm still waiting, and when this is all over, I want to go to Australia. My wife has been there. She's been there. But she's like, you got to have a meat pie.
Yes, I take all of my friends to get the meat pies. They are so good. Yeah, big fan of the meat pie.
well, since we've been having to teach our kids now from home because they're not allowed to go to school. So I'm just going to put this on Google Classroom at the end of it, and it'll have vocabulary words like my son's book. The words that he doesn't know. We'll just do the Australian vocabulary words as part of the show notes. That'll be fun.
Yeah, happy to help. Yeah.
So, Rachel, you have all these ideas, and you're performing on all of them. Before we get into like what today's with the quarantine and all that stuff, how do you stay focused on one task and the other? Like, is that something you just naturally have, or did it take work, or a little bit of everything?
Actually, I have a few trainings on this, so I'm happy to send you guys some links you can put in the show notes, where I actually have trainings on how to make a game plan and stick to it, like how to make goals and daily tasks and to stick to it. Because no, I don't think any of us are naturally born with these skills. You have to build them, you have to work at them, and particularly now, I mean, you guys would know, like, you know, you get on social media or get on your phone to answer a text, and then there's social media notifications, and suddenly, you know, you wake up 20 minutes later from this like social media days and the kids singing out, and like, how can you get stuff done when everyone wants your attention? So it's called the attention economy. And now we're paying, businesses and organizations are paying to get and hold your attention. That's why Facebook wants you to stay on. It's Instagram, you know, even podcasts now are doing different things to make you stay on and stay engaged and to not go to another podcast to keep listening, you know, autoplay and stuff like that. So I think, you know, with ourselves, we need to remember that everything wants our attention, and that it's our job to kind of control and police our own attention and to recognize that it is hard, and so we need to put stuff in place. So for me, I do what people usually do, where I have like one major thing that I have to get done today. So today, obviously, comb my hair, wash my face, turn up to this live podcast. That is the one thing I could not skip out on. And then I have a bunch of others, so normally 2 or 3 other things I want to get done. But I even have to schedule now, like going to the gym, you know, normally seeing friends, especially now, we can sit at home for 2 weeks and not talk to anyone if we wanted to. So you have to schedule this stuff in. So I kind of make, you know, break down larger kind of yearly goals into like monthly goals, into weekly goals, and then like weekly tasks. And I step everything out. And it sounds really like, I suppose, overly organized. And I know a lot of people who are creative and do stuff are resistant to this, but I just sort of feel like it actually gives me freedom, because I know what I have to do each day. And if I don't want to do it, I just move it over to the next day, but at least I know how long it's going to take me, what I need to get done. If I don't want to do something, I go do another task that was planned for Thursday and then switch those out. But if you don't have that organization, you don't actually have freedom. You just have stress, overwhelm, you don't get anything done. And then you like get the guilt, you know, how you get at the end of the day when you're like, I didn't do anything today. You know, I didn't exercise, I didn't cook, I didn't see my family, I didn't do this for work, I didn't, you know, work on a podcast, I didn't play guitar like I said I wouldn't, learn a language. Like, I'm not just talking about work stuff. It's just like I didn't do anything. I sat and watched Netflix and drank coffee and scrolled, you know, Instagram. And it's so easy for us to do. So I think
it's Tiger King. So, I mean.
Oh my God, that was so good. That was the exception. I like just
last night.
got rid of my to-do list and I was like, hell no. Tiger King is where it's at. This is what I need to commit to. So I did it.
Oh, I'm sorry I had to do that.
Oh, so good. That is like a global phenomenon. Just imagine though, if we hadn't all been quarantined, would Tiger King have been as amazing as it is? I want to write something or do something on this, like, because it came out at the perfect moment. So
I think it would have been as amazing. It would not have spread as fast.
No.
It wouldn't have been. Yeah, it wouldn't have been so explosive.
Yeah, like all the memes and inside jokes and stuff like that. Like it just wouldn't have. It's like how we communicate now. It's like through Tiger King quotes.
I love it.
So I feel like I have to watch it just to keep up with everybody else. I have not seen it. I haven't watched it.
It's a dumpster fire, man.
Yeah, I know. And
let me tell you.
I have enough dumpster fires in my life. The last thing I need to do is watch dumpster fires at
No, dude.
on TV.
No, dude. It'll make you feel good about your dumpster fire.
It does.
Fair enough. Hey, a couple of folks have joined. BC1, Liz Bergen, of course, is on. Hi, Liz. And Tracy Grant, T-Money. Happy Friday to you as well. For anybody who's watching or listening, please let us know you're there. Give us a wave. Give us a hello. Appreciate everybody watching here on Happy Hour today. Also, if you have any questions for us or for Rachel, please don't hesitate to chat them in, and we will be sure to get your questions answered as well. Hey, Ben, how's the fanzine? We didn't actually talk about our beers.
Oh, dude, it's remarkable. I messed up, and I should have written down the hops they used, but it's just fantastic. Not bitter, but just enough bite to get you where you want to go. So let's get this podcast hurried up so I can finish this thing.
I'm not waiting. I'm almost done.
Now I wish I had a beer. I had a beer.
Knope's gonna go black there for a minute. We're like, where'd Knope go? He had to go refill. I should have asked them how to say this. I think it's the Siouan Kolsch. I'm using it's Siux, so it's the Sioux Indians. Siouan. I'm guessing at that. I'll have to figure out for sure, but it is fantastic. It's exactly what you want out of a Kolsch. It's light. It's a little bit sweet, and just slides. You could just crush about 15 of these sitting on the deck in the sunshine. So I am really interested to hear about your experience in Australia with COVID-19. And I know that everyone's just, I know everyone's talking about it and it's a little bit of overdone, but we're obviously very isolated and insulated here in our own. I mean, we run a very hyper-focused, geographically focused podcast, so we don't get out of our region as much as we would like to. So to have somebody on the other side of the world, I think it's really interesting to find out, what have you experienced? What's going on in your neighborhoods? What's going on particularly in your small business community, and how are small businesses coping where you're at?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think Australia decided to take it seriously about the same time as like the US, Canada, New Zealand, the UK. Like we all kind of started taking it seriously roughly at the same time. I will say that this seemed to happen as soon as government officials, presidents, prime ministers etc., got sick. And then these countries decide to take it seriously. So it's funny how that happened. I'll just throw that in. So yeah, like what's it been now? A couple of weeks since we've all kind of gone into some kind of lockdown. So we're in lockdown, except with essential things. So we can go out and exercise daily, but only with members in our house or one other person. We can go to the shops to buy food. We can go to the post office, chemist, etc. And we can still travel for work or school if we can't work from home. But ideally, you literally don't go outside unless it's like once a week to pick up groceries, and daily for half an hour or so for exercise. Lots of people are running around the block. They're walking their dogs. In fact, there are more people in my local community walking around and, you know, exercising than I've ever seen before. So in some ways, it's really nice because you can see like the community feels like it's full and alive when you go outside. So there's lots of people doing stuff, obviously taking measures, you know, and being careful, but it's good to see people running, exercising, like getting outside, enjoying the sun. And so we're kind of focusing on that. So I'm teaching at university, but I'm teaching all my classes online. Most people now, like I said, are working from home. My partner goes to work once or twice a week because he has to. He works in IT and professional services, so he'll have to go to work, but they're trying to sort of stop that as well and have like rotating teams. I don't know if you guys are doing this in America and Canada and stuff like that, where you have like rotating teams. So only one team goes to work on certain days and another team goes to work on other days. That way, if a team gets sick, then you just quarantine their team and you don't have to do the whole office. Yeah, so like, you know, that's sort of the general kind of rules, which means, yeah, most of us are staying at home, hanging out, reading. We're all reading lots of books, you know, Netflix, board games, pretty much the same as you guys. Like, we're not doing anything particularly interesting or special, but I think the overall feeling in Australia is more positive than some parts of the world, particularly US and the UK, because we do not have as many people affected. It is not as serious here. So like, you know, when I see news reports of the US, everyone has a face mask on. Everyone I follow from the US is telling people only go outside, you need face masks and gloves. You know, I've got friends who are like wiping down all of their wine bottles, all of their groceries. We don't do that here. Well, I'm not personally doing that here. I don't wear a face mask and don't wear gloves. You know, I wash my hands a lot. Kind of did that before coronavirus though. So I don't know if I'm doing anything differently there. Just in case anyone hasn't told you, you should be washing your hands. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I've got like 50 emails at least from organizations who I don't know telling me to wash my hands. So I'm doing that. But besides washing my hands excessively, my life's kind of the same. I already work from home in my pajamas, as we've established. I've been doing it for 8 years. I do travel a lot for work, 2 to 3 months of the year, so I'm unable to travel and therefore have lost work personally from workshops. I might not be able to go back to Portland. You guys would know from interviewing Jessica. I'm going to be speaking at her conference again this year. I don't know if I'll be able to do that. So from a business perspective, I've lost a lot of work. So I was still doing a lot of in-person workshops and traveling around the world, but instead, I've just brought a lot of my services and stuff online. So I think from a business perspective, people are finally, they've got the routine at home sorted and are now focusing on how to pivot their business. I don't know if you guys saw the meme going around, you know, Friends with Ross and Chandler trying to get the couch, the famous kind of scene with the couch on the staircase and like,
yes.
you go, pivot. So that kind of approach that we're all taking. So yeah, so we're all kind of pivoting now and doing stuff online. So I'm lucky that a lot of my programs and a large proportion of my income I can do online. So again, I just moved lots of stuff from, you know, in real life onto online. Obviously not all businesses can do that. So I think they're starting to realize that they need to have an online offline component, that they need to future-proof their business. The same as bricks and mortar businesses. Like you said, you know, like now you can go pick up beer and you can still get takeaway food and stuff. And I think people are realizing that post-corona that maybe these are services that they need to invest into in case more of things like this happen. And, you know, like your local community is good, but that won't get you so fast. Being able to buy wine overseas or vouchers and stuff and ship it, you know, state by state, etc., is really important too.
Mm-hmm. What are your clients saying? You've been talking to them, obviously, and I just want to know. I like to, when I talk to when we do this, I love to get the idea of what other business owners are feeling and what they're hearing from other business owners. So what are the your clients saying to you? Are they, what's the mood like right now?
Everyone was freaking out quite extensively. Particularly, I'm going to say most of my clients are women, and I think there's been an added pressure with women. A lot of them will have certain jobs, you know, like nursing, caring, teaching, etc. Their kind of jobs, so they often went first, and then they also have to do a lot of the child minding, rearing, caring. So a lot of my clients now find themselves at home looking after small children and trying to run a business, or, you know, even not even trying to run a business, just trying to homeschool their kids and stuff, like you guys were saying off air. And so that added pressure. So they were just freaking out, wondering how the hell they're going to keep their business afloat, how they're going to take care of their children, how they could support their family, you know, during this, you know, holding the space for their family, let alone like clients and stuff. And I think, like I said, that's why everyone's kind of got the home front sorted, but now is not actually sure how to bring in money. So I've got some clients who have used this time to really knuckle down on the fundamentals of business communications, what they're doing, while others have, I suppose, a resisting change and are still in a place of fear and have chosen to step away from their business. And I'm not saying that out of judgment, but just, you know, like there's 7 stages of like grief, etc. And people are actually currently going through that, and people are at different stages and have been affected differently. Like I haven't been affected that much. I don't have any small children. I don't have any pets or anything like that. So, you know, like me, like I said, I'm kind of like, oh, and then I pivot quite quickly, focus, and I'm still making money. I should still be going quite well. So I'm less affected. And so I just move through the stages quite quickly. That's not to say that
you
I
have
don't
a
get
coffee
stressed.
fairy.
Yes, and I have a coffee fairy.
Which,
so I have like, you know, people helping me out and stuff, where some people don't. Like I have a lot of my clients are single mums, and they have friends who are single dads and stuff. It's so hard, like to go, like one of my friends, you know, he's an electrician, can't do work now. He's a single dad. So he's like, well, I can't even take my kid to jobs and stuff. It's not safe to go in houses, and I can't leave him there. You know, and then I don't want to go burn different people's houses and buildings and come home to like him, and I can't get the grandparents to look after him because grandparents are at risk. So do you know what I mean? Like it's really complex. So I think everyone's still freaking out, and I think they were hoping that this wouldn't be such a big thing, and now they've realized it could be the rest of the year and big changes are going to be needed to be made. So yeah, I'm hoping people are starting to feel better, but I think, to be honest, a lot of people are still feeling really confused and angry and frustrated, disappointed, and these are all justified feelings, but it's hard to do anything from a place of those feelings, as you would know.
How has you know, the local governments and your national government stepped up? Have they created relief programs? Have they created stimulus packages to try to help families, to try to help small businesses? What's that been like in your country?
Yeah, they have. They've done a lot, and they rolled them out pretty quickly once they established they need to actually take action. They did it quite well. The problem is, though, that a lot of these packages don't recognize freelancers, in air quotes, and I would count as a freelancer. So I have lots of friends in the arts, you know, are writing like me. I'm not getting any writing gigs, not getting any speaking gigs, you know, those kind of freelancer, wider arts. I think you guys still define arts, you know, like writing, music, dance, all the things that we actually value, and we value now more than ever. No one has any work, and the government, it's not like they're not supporting us, but it's really hard to get support. So we have like a job keeper and a job seeker. So if you have a job, they're trying to give you support so businesses don't fire you. So you've been stepped down. So you're not currently working, but you still have a job, and you'll be able to get back into your role later. And so you've got like money to support you. And then there's like job seeker, which is, you know, you no longer have work or access to work, you can get help. But someone like me falls in like a really wishy-washy spot, and they're doing the best they can, but it's not as easy for me. So I've got friends who have stepped down and stuff so they can get work really easy. For me, maybe not so much. Yeah, so it's like it's put lots of people in weird positions. So freelancers, like I said, I know in America they're like huge, like this huge freelancer community. So people who, you know, pick up your washing, do dry cleaning, do odd jobs and all that, they don't fall into a lot of these packages. Like I'm not a small business with $1 million turnover. I mean, if you hadn't noticed, I'm not living in a mansion, so I'm not making $1 million. So, you know, then I don't get any benefits. I don't have staff, so I don't qualify for small business. I'm sole trader, freelancer, and I'm not getting the help that I perhaps need. And even if you did get help, a lot of the money is great and will cover costs, but for most people it won't cover rent. And so now, you know, working with landlords to not kick people out of their houses, but then, you know, people can't travel for work, can't get home, you know, can't afford the dentist. And so there's all these like, I suppose from my background, I have like a master's in international development. So I do a lot of community work. So I think of it from like a community perspective. So from that, the long-term kind of effects of this will be quite significant and highly significant for people such as freelancers or low-skilled jobs, particularly in the US and Canada, etc. You know, like working in McDonald's, cleaning, all of that kind of stuff, they're going to be affected more than perhaps we will be.
That's interesting. And what sort of things, what sort of things are you noticing that, because you do a lot of social media stuff, right? And businesses, you have to be on social media and all these platforms. What sort of tips could you use for people who are small business owners that they can use right now that they could maybe carry on in the future for their business?
Yeah, I think now more than ever, it's important to understand who you are, like why you're in business, your purpose, you know, why you exist, why you chose to do this, just for your own sanity. You know, when you have those bad days, you know, you have a beer and you're like, what am I doing with my life? If you know that, it makes it a little bit easier, but also
I don't know what she's talking about, guys.
So you can communicate that. So you need to do that, and then you need to know who you help, like who you serve, why you serve them, what they're currently struggling with, and then you need to really know how you help them. So, you know, how you're, like why you're placed to help them, why they should get help from you, what you can do to help them. And I think for a lot of businesses at the moment, that's, you know, if they've got the columns, this how they're helping is falling down because they're like, well, I don't know how to walk dogs virtually. Like, you know, I was a dog walker. How do I now walk dogs when I can't go outside and stuff? So, you know, like how they help is suddenly falling off, you know, this whole like friends pivot thing. They don't know how to do that. So you need to get really clear on that. Again, I have like a bunch of resources that I could share. I have like an e-course on this, but you need to sort of figure this out. And so you just need to ask you like yourself the general questions, like why do I exist? Why am I here? Why am I the best person to help someone? You know, who are my dream clients? What are they currently struggling with like right now? And has that changed compared to pre-coronavirus? Most of the time I'm going to say that it hasn't really changed. They still have those problems. It's just your service that needs to change. So then, you know, if you're a dog walker, how can you entertain dogs when you can't walk them? You know, if you're doing babysitting but you can't babysit anymore, do you have activities and workbooks to give to mums and dads that they can use to then give to their children, to occupy their children for 20 minutes, half an hour, so they can put a load of laundry on? Like, what can you offer and do and serve to help your clients? And so if you know these, you're going to do well regardless of coronavirus, any other pandemic, any other, you know, global financial crisis, which is, you know, some people are predicting we might see a downturn and stuff, and we are. So, you know, we've got to be prepared for that. So if you have those three pillars, no matter what happens, you'll be in a good position. You have your core foundations. And then, yeah, just ask yourself like really simple questions, but also you want to provide simple answers. So I'm seeing some business owners and even, you know, large organizations going out and trying to do something really complex, like a new huge program, you know, 6-month program and lots of money and, you know, offering new burgers and all of this weird stuff. Like, why don't you just offer the cheeseburger that everyone ordered on a Friday night? Why are you now trying to offer some like grand pandemic burger? You know, how people kind of take it and then run with it. And you're like, why don't you just offer your cheeseburger and your pack of beer, you know, 6-pack of beer like you always did at maybe a good price, and throw in some free onion rings or something? Because people are already buying that, and now they just want to know that you're still open and stuff. You know, chuck in some onion rings, talk to your clients, leave them a message on the box or something like that. But you don't need to overcomplicate stuff. And I think that's what I see a lot of people doing at the moment, just extreme.
Go ahead, Canope.
All this food talk, man, is making me hungry.
Man, will you just mute him? Just mute him.
It's
She
dinner
is-
time. It's
She
dinner
is
time.
preaching
Fucking
really
cheeseburger.
Oh
important
my
stuff.
goodness!
I mean, I was so captivated by that.
Oh,
And,
Joe.
I was too, and then you had
and
to
all-
ask me a question. Why did you bother to ask me after she's talking about cheeseburgers? Come on.
she was giving great advice for business owners of all kinds, and all Canope heard was cheeseburger.
Oh, I
Cheeseburger.
heard everything else. You asked
Matter
me
with
a
you?
question, and I responded.
What's the matter with you?
I love that. Kayla, you know why I love that? Is because what Rachel is saying, and I'm really paraphrasing everything you just said, is you're searching, you're providing, you're looking for value that you can still, how you can serve other people, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, exactly.
Taylor, we talked about that all the time, bro. Like, what are we doing to provide service for other people?
And, you know, for business owners who are trying to either capitalize on it, or they're trying to stem the bleeding, or, you know, this is where you have to understand what resources are available to you from the government, and apply for those loans, and you know, apply for that relief, because you know what, nobody's making money, and you can't have a mindset of how do I make money now, because you're probably not going to. So how do you serve? How can you serve your community? And what you said was so important. Who is your community? Who are those key personas that you serve? Do you really know who they are? And that dog walker example, or that babysitter
That's really
example,
good.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a simple example that you can extrapolate to any size business. So that's really, really good stuff.
Yeah, and I think it's also, you know, why you need to serve people now is because if we look at sales psychology and where we're all at, you know, like I said, we're all kind of in that fear, fight or flight mindset. We don't actually want to go and invest in anyone who we don't already know, like, and trust, and that's just a core part of marketing. So think about it. If you guys needed to go buy new shoes, sports shoes right now, you're probably going to go buy the same brand that you brought 6 months ago. If you're going to invest in Easter eggs and presents, you're going to buy the same kind of chocolate brand or the same beer brands. You're going to go the same to beer. Like, you don't want to go to someone you don't know. So you want to maintain that. I mean, that's just basic marketing. So instead of trying to get new sales from new people and forgetting who you currently are already serving, focus on the people you already have, keep them happy, keep them coming back to you. And then post-corona, they're going to go out and buy your stuff. They're going to champion you. You're going to still be known in the community. So, you know, people right now are really forgetting that they already have a community they can serve. And you're right, it's not about making money. It's about maintaining trust. It's about staying relevant. It's about staying there. So when we're post-corona, you're the first person they think of when they want to buy, sell, engage with any brand. And there are smart ways to do that, like I said, by doing what you've always done and adding just those kind of personal touch points, which is what people want, because people are really lonely. They're feeling disconnected. They're wanting to connect with something larger than themselves, and businesses are able to do that. So even doing things like, I don't know if you guys have seen this, you know, beer companies sending out like beer facts and like these kind of like little pamphlets online now and emails to talk about different beer, and having forums where people can share comments about how they're drinking beer and how they're enjoying it, just like you guys were, but now online through a company. So you can facilitate community aspects and stuff. So instead of all crowding around a bar on a Friday night talking about it, you're doing it online now. So again, just really sort of smart ways, and these don't have to be complex or really time consuming or take a lot of money, because let's be honest, whether you're a sole trader or a business owner, you do not have a lot of money to spare right now. But you know, you probably do have like $100 to get like a Zoom account and to be able to host something like this, you know, once a month, like a beer group. You know, so thinking just sort of like strategically, and again, you can keep all these things long term. It's not just for 3 months. These are core business fundamentals and strategies you can use forever.
Yeah, I mean, and it's so important to, you know, be thinking about these skills that you're building, or, you know, how you're thinking strategically about your business, and really being intentional about, okay, what did we do? Now, how do we do this during normal times? How do we continue to evaluate our business during normal times so we can always be evolving and serving our communities the best? And the other thing I wanted just to mention was that a big part of customer loyalty is about memories. And we have a very unique time because everyone's going to remember this, right? This is one of those sort of historic moments that will define the history books, right? When our grandkids are reading, like, this will be that kind of moment. And even as small business owners, but business owners of all kinds, what memories are you creating for your customers? Are you trying to do super complicated and new offerings, or are you really just taking care of them? Are you making them feel good, right? Because that's where it's at, and that's what will build that long-term loyalty. Mm-hmm. Create those memories, and by throwing in an extra order of onion rings, or whatever it might be.
Knope would love it.
Yeah, Knope certainly would love
onion
it.
rings.
I'd love it. I'd eat onion rings.
Yeah. I mean, Lori even commented that Knope's always hungry. So are we really surprised?
Yeah, we're not. Not even.
Of course.
Your example of what you can do, the babysitter, of giving something to a mom or a dad who's at home with their children, the ability to just put in a load of laundry or wash some dishes or something like that. That's huge. I mean, it may seem small to somebody, but for the person who has to do it and can't get the kids out of their hair, that's massive. So,
I mean, and in terms of that memory, think about the mom walking out of the laundry room, and there's their toddler playing with that particular activity. There's the memory, right? That's the thing. That's what she'll remember forever. That moment when she walked out and there was her toddler happy, not screaming, not needing a diaper change, like, oh my gosh, this just one little minute of relief and happiness, and that memory is captured, and the loyalty is then locked in. Why would she ever take her kids anywhere than that babysitter or that daycare, forever? Because during the times that things were really hard, they were doing those little things to try to help out. It's a very, very great example.
Really good. Rachel, we're up against the clock, but one more question. Can you do an Australian accent? Well, that's your Australian, but and the New Zealand, like, what is the difference there? Can you do a New Zealand accent?
We are hard hitting interviewers at Business Over Beer, so.
I'm terrible at New Zealand, like a Kiwi accent, but like the one that everyone does as an example is like in Australia would say fish and chips, but if you're a Kiwi, you say like fish and chops. My Kiwi friends are gonna kill me. It's like we do really like nasal.
Fish and chips and fashion checks.
Yeah, fashion chops. I can't do it. It's so bad.
Fashion chops.
I know when he's from New Zealand and watch me, they're like, oh my god. But there is a clear difference. You need to watch like videos side by side, but we're way more nasally kind of and high pitched. Yeah.
We'll fix that in post for you.
Yeah, please, can you just erase that whole section?
I'll dub in a real New Zealand accent for you.
Okay.
It'll sound great. It'll sound great. Don't worry about it.
Oh gosh.
No, Rachel, you are awesome, and everything that you've said, wow,
fantastic. I mean, really good.
Really, really good. I don't know where to start with. As a business owner myself, I'm like listening to what you're saying, and I'm like, are we doing that? Are we being our it's almost our best self as a small business owner? We want to make sure that we're maintaining our true self, I should say. Because right now, nobody's at their best with kids are home and we're homeschooling and we're working and we're trying to get money. Nobody's at their best, but they're doing their best. And what you just said was just uplifting. And thank you so much for joining us.
No worries at all. Yeah, I hope it was helpful. I guess the main thing I always think if I'm doing something is, am I doing it from a place of like fear and needing, like, I need money, I need this thing, I need these likes, or am I doing it out of like really just service? Am I doing it because and even if no one pays me and no one buys the thing and no one likes it, am I still happy that I did this thing or put it out into the world? And that's what I'm using to gauge. And if I'm a bit tired and grumpy and a bit needy, then I just step away from my business for a day or a couple of hours. But yeah, I think every moment you do right now, like you said, you can't be your best, but your intentions can be the best version of you. So being really intentional.
Love that. I love that.
I don't know why
being
people give
intentional.
millennials such a hard time.
I don't get it. I don't get
Why?
it. You are.
I mean,
oh my
Look,
goodness.
man, smart people are smart people. So
Amen, brother.
Thank you.
Amen.
You're too kind. Thank you.
A, I hope we have the opportunity to talk again. We'd love
Of
to have you
course,
back. B, I hope that the On the Rise Summit happens and that you come to Portland. Then we can have a proper beer together.
That would be amazing.
And maybe certainly get you back on the show live, do a live interview. But for now, we'll leave it there with our thanks. If people want to find out more about you and your business, where would you like to send them?
Just head to my website, so rachelkurzyp.com.au. You can get access to my Instagram, all of my freebies, cheats, courses, etc. Or send me an email. Everyone's always surprised that I actually respond to every single one. So if you have a question, you just want to chat, want to hear my terrible pronunciation of Kiwi accent, send me an email and I'll send you a voice message.
A quick update on vocabulary. I think there were two. I can't remember the other one, but the big one was chemist. We'll have to figure out what
it's like a pharmacy, drugstore.
That's all right. There you go. I was thinking that's what it was, but all right, there you go. Chemist was the one that really stood out. So other than that, I think we're all good.
Oh, awesome. I did pretty good then.
We did.
Hey, Canope.
Yes, sir.
If people want to find business over beer, where do they go?
They go to bizoverbeer.com, bizoverbeer.com. They can listen to our podcast there. They can find all of our social media handles there and information about how to keep your hair looking shiny and nice and what hats to wear.
That's the blog post that's coming very soon. I've been working for about 4 weeks on the Respect the Hair blog post, but I can't quite get it right, but it's coming.
It looks fantastic today.
Coming. Nine ways to treat your hair correctly for a podcast host.
Love it.
It's a thing.
Thank you, everybody. You want to show everybody? Hold on, I got a surprise for you guys.
Is it Fosh and Chops?
So,
Actually, that was pretty good.
Angie, this is a. Oh, Canope, you're gonna hate this, bro.
I'm gonna hate it.
This is a Biz Over Beer Happy Hour special. Angie attempted and looks like succeeded. Chicago style deep dish pizza.
Oh, that's so good.
Now, Rachel, it's no meat pie, but damn.
Social
That looks
distancing
so
be damned.
good.
I'll be there in 10 minutes. So I'm on my way.
You hear that knocking? I'm outside your door. Open up.
We'll have this. We'll have the recording of this episode up through all of our podcast channels and YouTube next Friday. So be on the lookout for that. Thanks to everyone for listening and watching. And Rachel, man,
You are awesome.
Thanks, Rachel.
really
Thank
appreciate it.
you. Thanks for having me.
Everybody. Have a good weekend, everybody.
We'll see you next time. Good night.
Business Over Beer reminds you to always drink responsibly. Our theme song is Alley Cat by Soul Shifters. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you at the next Business Over Beer Happy Hour.
Did you go to school for marketing? And what did you go to?
Yeah, so I have a degree in journalism, a degree in business management. So I specialize in marketing, PR, sales psychology, and then I have a master's in international development, so specializing in like NGOs, community, like access to different rights, like your right to a footpath, the park. So I can talk on kind of like community stuff. But I also specialize within that on urban planning and architecture and housing. So,
Wow.
yes. Yeah. So, I wasn't kidding. I did all the things.
Well, I mean, I think it's good for the hosts to have someone smarter than them on the show. So we succeeded in that. Not that that's hard, but
That's not hard, but dang, yeah.
but I think she's smarter than all three of us combined.